Hello, you're watching Transbrations. I'm your host, Nishan Dion. Tonight's special guest is Tyler Stone, a pioneering producer, remixer, DJ, and vocalist based in Los Angeles, California, and recognized as one of the first female house music producers. Her career is highlighted by several top 10 Billboard Dance hits, flaunting her distinctive style rooted in soulful house, disco, and downtempo. After earning a jazz degree from Cornish College of the Arts, she moved to San Francisco, where she became a central figure in the city's dance music scene. Tyler has showcased her talents on legendary labels like Nervous, Large, Eightball, and Henry Street, and has remixed some of dance and pop music's finest artists, including Armand van Helden and Robin S. In addition to her production work, Tyler is an accomplished DJ, having held residencies at prestigious venues like the W Hotel and Clift Hotel. A visionary in the industry, Tyler continues to remain true to the core of soulful house music while honoring its rich history. Tyler Stone, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm sure you already know that house music is my number one choice of music, and having you here is just beyond amazing.
Fabulous.
Beyond amazing. So gonna jump right into it. Well, now we're gonna talk about LZ Love.
LZ.
She is a singer, songwriter, performer, and author, and you recently collaborated with her on the LGBTQ disco anthem, Just Can't Stop, which was released in September on Beatport, correct?
Beatport, well, it's released on all music streaming services now.
Take us back to the beginning of your relationship with LZ. How and where did you first meet?
We first met at Third Floor, and she was up there working on a song called Lift Me Up, and they pulled me in to do some keyboard parts. But here's, thing again, we're going back to my blurry days. Like, I don't remember the exact moment we met, quite honestly, but I do remember her being up there. I remember working on the track. I didn't, because I was just playing keyboards on it and I wasn't really part of the whole track. I just have a memory of that part of it. But then I remember she was working on other stuff too. Like, for example, she was doing a cover of Donna Summer's Bad Girls. And I was in the other room with my girlfriend. We were tracking some vocals and they needed some backup vocalists. So they hauled us in and had us do the toot toot beep beeps for her.
Okay. Come on, bad girl.
And so then we even did a show together at DNA Lounge. I did my song, she did her song. There's some cute pictures of us from that time. And I mean, so we kind of just, got to know each other like girlfriends. And then we went off in separate directions.
Mm-hmm.
But I had that record, Lift Me Up, and I would play it all the time when I DJ'd. And I just loved that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved her vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the way everything kind of came together with the song. And so when the pandemic happened and I kind of reconnected with her over Facebook, I kept kind of poking at her like, we got to do a song together. We should do a song together. Because of course I was right in the middle of doing all these remixes and I was just keeping busy doing music. And I was like, oh, I want to do an original song. And I'd love to have her vocals on this. And
Mm-hmm.
she's a great writer. So I thought that would be fun.
What year did you guys do the Lift Me Up?
Maybe 98-ish, 97, we're in there.
It was on Freshly Squeezed Records, and
Yeah.
it was the track that you played the piano on the remix track.
Yeah.
That was the first project that you had worked on, which was Lift Me Up. You liked it. You liked it a lot. You enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I loved the song and it just was sticking in my head. And so I had reconnected with her on Facebook and I just kept kind of bugging her to let's do a track together. So she was like, I remember the first time I talked to her, it was kind of like, okay. But I mean, it wasn't like she was jumping up and down to do a track with me, but I think she was intrigued. And so it was great. We just got on the phone and started talking, like I sent her some music and we talked a little bit about what the song was going to be about. And she sent back 3 ideas and we picked one and off we went to the races. So it was, a little, it wasn't because it was during the pandemic and she was in LA and I was in Portland and we had to do the vocals. She had to do the vocals in LA and then send the files up to me. So it wasn't as seamless as normally you would like it to be because we couldn't be in the studio together the whole time.
Right.
But in spite of that, to me, now I look back on it, the fact that we were able to reconnect, do a song virtually with each other, and have a finished product that we were both happy with, and then get it signed to Nervous Records, one of the top dance labels out there. I think we did pretty well.
Mhm. Just in time to unite on the dance floor, LZ Love and my new single Dance Through It, available July 9th on Nervous Records, 2020. July
Yeah.
9th, 2020. In 2020, you collaborated with LZ on her last track, Dance Through It. It was recorded over Zoom. What was that experience like? You just mentioned it briefly, but what was...
Well, we didn't record over Zoom. I suppose in a way you could say that. I mean, she recorded in the studio. She went into a studio and recorded with her friend's studio.
Yeah.
I just chimed in. I said, let me hear what you're saying so I can put my 2 cents in. She would send me, here's what we just did. And I would get on the phone with her and give her my notes, basically, and say, can you try this? Can you try that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And then she sent me back everything. But we didn't get to experiment as much as I would have liked to have because of the long distance. So, but still, regardless of that, I mean, we ended up with a great track.
So from the time you did that first track, Lift Me Up, Dance Through It was the second one that you worked on?
Yeah. A lot of time ago. She had moved to Austin. I had moved to Portland. We had lost track of each other.
So this is almost like 25 years later.
Yeah, we went off on our own little journey. Then, like I said, reconnected via Facebook.
She really made an impact on you. She was memorable for you to want to... What made you contact her again? What made you want to work with her again?
I ran into her on the street, on the Facebook street. Basically, that's what happened. There
Oh,
she was. All of a sudden, there's LZ on my Facebook, and we became Facebook friends. And I'm hearing about what she's doing, and I'm like, I want to do a song together again.
That's how the collaboration with Dance Through It came about.
Yeah. So it was like running into your old friend on
An
the
old
road
friend.
you haven't seen in 20 years. And
Okay, I see.
we
I
tried
see.
together again.
Apart from collaborating on and creating beautiful music with LZ, what do you appreciate and enjoy most about her?
Oh, wow. There's so much to appreciate and enjoy about her. I don't know where to start, but she's such a giving, loving spirit. And she's just so full of life and love and energy. And she wants to just bring that spirit to everyone, and so whatever room she walks into, you feel it, and it's just a joy to be around.
She's a very sweet lady.
Mm-hmm.
So it's safe to say you've been friends for over 40 years.
Yeah, I mean,
30?
like I said, we lost touch, but you never lose it. We picked right back up where we left off when we reconnected. I mean, we hung out a little bit, but we didn't know each other super well back in the day, really just kind of touched on each other's lives, and then off we went in our separate directions. So we've really gotten to know each other better since we've been working together again.
Were you at the erotic balls? Were you at those events when you weren't there in San Francisco?
Yeah, I wasn't there.
You had heard about them though.
Oh yeah, I know all about the erotic
balls.
Okay.
Okay. She's been very open about her journey as a transgender woman.
Mm-hmm.
I had planned on asking you if you consider yourself an LGBTQI plus
all of them.
An ABCDEFGHIJ, the alphabet. We'll say the alphabet ally.
The whole alphabet.
That's the running joke. Everybody knows what that means, though.
Right.
I was surprised because you sent me an email, and I'm gonna read it. A friend of mine posted this, and I really love the sentiment. I don't wear rainbow items to tell you who's in my bed. I wear them so the family across the street knows they're safe. So the couple in the restaurant know they aren't alone. So the boy who sees me, notice him looking at dresses, knows I won't judge. I wear them because of those who make them hide.
Right. And that was a quote that a friend of mine had posted. And I just, like I said, I just felt like that kind of is a really great, kind of sums up what being an ally is about, and I think for me,
besides writing checks,
besides writing
checks.
We Venmo now.
Zelle, cat. Don't worry, I don't ask for donations at the end.
But you know, it's I think it's been a journey for me too, is like understanding that, right? Because what I learned as a youth, as a child, was you live, love, you let love. Like you don't judge, right? And everyone has their own thing to bring into life, and you don't judge. I've just always kind of, like, as a youth, as a really young child and everything, I just assumed that that was how the world operated. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Right. It was only through just life experience that I started to understand that not everyone was like me. Not everybody just accepted people
As they were.
And the thing, and where I really started to understand that, how that all came into play too, was through the Black Lives Matter, which is very recent. But one of the things that I really started to understand was that it wasn't enough to just be a good person and go through my life that's saying, well, I'm not like that. Like, I don't judge. That wasn't enough, because that's my experience. But I'm not experiencing all the other things. Like, there's a reason I didn't know, because I'm not experiencing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not experiencing what that feels like. So it's not enough to just be okay, or to say, but I'm not like that. I don't judge. You have to also take a stand and be vocal.
If you're willing to poke your neck out for someone else, as they say.
You have to be vocal, and you have to, so it's important. And I feel like that sentiment is saying exactly that. It's saying, let's, as an ally, let's be vocal about it. Let's not just stand back and say, well, I'm not going to judge you. Let's make sure other people know why.
What friend of yours is this? What was their name?
Her name's Amy Nutter. I just saw her in Amsterdam. She's
Is she a writer?
No, she didn't write it. This is a repost off another site called, I wish I could tell you what it was called, but I can't remember. So it's a repost. You know how things get reposted and reposted.
Yeah, share.
She didn't write it. Yeah. No, she didn't write that, but she had posted it from another Facebook page, and I read it, and I just was like, wow, that kind of summed it all up, and I really appreciated the sentiment from it.
You actually did. You actually said a friend of mine posted this versus a friend of mine wrote this.
Yeah.
When would you say you first identified as an ally?
Well, I didn't even know there was such a thing, again, because I think in the truest spirit of being an ally, I've always identified as an ally, but I didn't know that I was an ally. So until it had a name, I didn't even know that was a thing, right? Again, I came from a very naive place where I just thought everybody thought like that. So
you said that earlier.
An ally, right? So it was only, during the Black Lives Matter movement where I started becoming familiar with these types of terms and what it meant and why it was important to be vocal about it. So then I just self-identified. I said, oh, that's me. That's what I am. So
the question was going to be, why is it important for you to be an ally? We've already covered all of that. So that was great that you sent me that. That was perfect. And back to your music. LZ Love said the two of you had just finished Dance Through It. She wanted to write a love song. Stevie Wonder said, please write more love songs. LZ said she had 3 ideas. Earlier, you said she had 3 ideas. Were you talking about the 3 ideas for Dance Through It, or for
we did both times. Yeah. She always brings 3 ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, what? Okay. LZ said she had 3 ideas and sang the chorus to you. She said you liked the 3rd one, and you said that's the anthem. And you started working on the grooves, not her. You worked on the grooves.
Yeah, I gave her those to write to. So I I had the track like 70% complete when I gave it to her.
Mhm.
And
this is for Just Can't Stop.
yeah, well,
Yes.
for both of them, but yeah, for Just Can't Stop as well. And so because I wanted her to have a song to, create to. So
When did she start working on Just Can't Stop? In
I
2020,
started
2020?
last fall, I started working on the track.
Oh, okay. So it was a little bit of space between when Dance Through It was released and some
Oh
time.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
because I mean, all right, so just to interject there, the time that had happened, Dance Through It came out, had its life, and then I moved to LA.
Right.
So that took up a huge chunk of my life, just packing and moving and finding a place to live and unpacking and setting my studio up and
From Oregon.
yeah,
Oregon.
yeah.
Okay.
So then it was last fall that I think I started working on the track, and then she started bugging me, going, "When are you gonna give me that track?" I want to write.
Okay.
I'm ready. Hurry up, girl.
And you said, excited to be back in the studio with the fabulous LZ Love, two divas on a disco mission. And that was in February of 2024.
Yeah, yeah. So we started recording. So I think I started working on the track in the fall, and then she kept bugging me to get it over to her, and then I finally did. I feel like it was before Christmas that we kind of solidified and honed in on the song. And then after Christmas, she got over to the studio and we started laying down the vocals.
And it was recently released.
Yeah. Yeah, I had, so it took us a while to get all the vocals done and get all the mixes done,
Mhm.
mixed down, mastering. Then we shopped it to just a couple of labels and we thought, well, let's wait till we see if we hear anything. So that took a couple of months of just waiting. And then when we decided, you know what, it's not going to happen, let's put this out ourselves. So then we put together a game plan and knocked it out.
And tell us about the song.
Well, the song, I mean, I always hate telling you about the song when it's really LZ wrote the lyrics and they're so personal to her. But of course the groove is everything that I provided in the music. But the song is when I heard the chorus the very first time, when she was saying, I can't stop loving this way, that's what kind of stuck with me, was this way, as opposed to, and then she says at the very last line, loving you this way. But it was the this way that I was like, I said, this is bigger than just a love song. This is about loving people the way you want to love people, and not being held to a certain prototype or you know
And
and
fine.
she got it immediately. She's like, oh my god, it is. And so even when we were recording the vocals, that intent was in the vocals and the recording of the vocals and talking about loving this way.
A song about loving who you want, when you want, how you want.
Right.
Bringing together the best of disco and house, Just Can't Stop has a sound that's both nostalgic and fresh. The electrifying chic-inspired guitars of the talented Dave Scholl instantly transports listeners to the dance floors of Studio 54 while staying firmly grounded in the pulse of today's electronic scene.
Yeah, let's talk about Dave Scholl and that guitar of his.
Okay.
So Dave is another San Francisco back in the day guy. And LZ, and I know him separately. Like LZ played, I think, in Michael Franti with him and a couple other places. So she's known him forever. And I used to give him a call when I just needed some guitar on my remixes or my tracks. And he would come down to the studio and knock out whatever I needed instantly. And another person that I reconnected with through Facebook. And I was so happy. I wanted to use him actually on LZ's first record that she and I did. Because in the back of my mind for years, I was like, oh, I just want Dave's guitar. If only I knew where Dave was.
Uh-huh.
And then I found him again. And I was so excited. So to be able to have him play on this record and have all of us, such a history, all of us separately, but equally together, have such a long history that goes all the way back to the 90s in San
Wait,
Francisco.
wait, he wasn't on Lift Me Up, was he?
No,
No, no.
no.
Oh, you guys had both worked on him on different projects. Okay, I got you.
Different projects, yeah,
Okay,
completely
I see.
different. We knew him completely separately. We've
Okay,
never, all three of us, been in the same room together.
Dave Scholl. Okay.
Mhm.
Tyler Stone, whose reputation in the electronic music scene continues to grow, brings her signature touch to the production. Stone's impeccable craftsmanship is evident in the track's flawless fusion of groove and melody, as well as the funk-driven bass line that is guaranteed to liberate your soul. Stone's production is a masterclass in how to honor the past while remaining faithful to the essence of modern dance music.
I mean, I think that's kind of the essence of my production, and what I'm focusing on right now is that idea of, using my influence, the things I've been influenced by in the past that we've talked about here, between
Right.
whether it's the disco or even the 90s house music, and bringing it into a current production sound. So you hear those influences, but it's mixed in a way that it's current and today. So
I built the track around the chords, which I wanted to resonate with both the death of yearning and the joy of love. At the same time, I needed the bass line to bring the essence of disco and that irresistible groove that defines the genre, said Stone of her approach.
right, yeah. So again, those chords are so key to the melody that she's singing, and bringing that, I mean, there's a feeling that the chords kind of lay out for you, and then the bass line and the drums are where you're getting kind of more the disco dance vibe, but those chords are really kind of carrying the whole melody line along.
I'm just going to read a few quotes. Huge shout out to the one and only Tyler Stone. She is one of our Bay Area legends, people, and she is on fire. Check out her new single with Ever Fierce LZ Love, her incredible guaranteed grooving body of work, and support House Nation family, DJ Polywog. DJ Polywog?
DJ Polywog.
Okay, DJ Polywog.
I mean, she's the girl.
DJ Polywog. Okay.
Yeah.
The Mark and Myra Show is in awe of you, LZ Love and Tyler Stone. The music you're making is flashing us back. When we first heard the song Just Can't Stop, it felt like it was Studio 54, Mark and Myra, Cyrus XMN Studio 54, based in New York. And you and her were just interviewed by them.
Yeah, so we got to spend a couple hours with them. Yeah, just talking on Zoom and talking about Studio 54. And I mean, what an honor and absolute compliment. Like, I couldn't have received a better compliment than being told that it took them right back to studio. I mean,
had you ever been there?
No, I was too young.
Okay. You were too
baby.
young. Okay.
I would have loved, I mean, that was my dream when I was a kid. I mean, I knew all about it, and I laugh and I think, how did we know so much about Studio 54 in New York when we were kids? I mean, I don't know, it was all over the magazines or whatever. Like, it was legend.
Yeah. Great tune supporting on my radio show, Me Soul Radio, Booker T in the UK. Just Can't Stop had me from the intro, fancy, free, fun, bouncy track that forces you to dance with a positive message that can't miss. DJ Val, Mix 93 FM, Chicago. House music vocal and production power duo LZ Love and Tyler Stone serve up a true club banger with the latest collaboration, Just Can't Stop, an irresistible dance track that captures a 1980 disco funk vibe with hypnotic soulful vocals. Billy Jam, WFMU San Francisco. Another irresistible banger from the dynamic duo LZ Love and Tyler Stone, serving up a deep dish of hypnotic fun. Just Can't Stop is soon to be a dance funk classic. Larry D. Batiste, music industry professional and author in San Francisco. So JJ handled the mastering for the track Just Can't Stop, correct?
Yes.
And you've collaborated with him before.
Yeah, JJ's another one that goes back to Third Floor. So that's how I know him, is San Francisco again. San Francisco in the house all the way. Yeah, so he was up there producing. He's been DJing. I used to go to his DJ night. It was a night called Breathe Deep every Tuesday night at Folsom, 1015 Folsom. So yeah, we've been kind of on the same journey together for a very long time, and more recently than not has been mastering. And he mastered one of the remixes that I did for another mutual friend, See how we keep it all in the family.
See, I get that feeling, right? Yeah.
So he
that
met
gatekeeping going on.
exactly.
You're part of it.
It's less about gatekeeping and more about just supporting each other. But yeah, he had mastered that, and I had been going through, like, normally when I'm working with other labels, they do the mastering, and so I get back what I perceive to be the best mix I could possibly deliver, and sometimes it sounds better and sometimes it sounds worse, and it's not supposed to sound worse, it's supposed to sound better.
That's not the plan.
So when I heard JJ's mastering, I said, oh my God, that's what it's supposed to sound like. That's what in my head I wanted the record to sound like. And it's the first time I've gotten something back from mastering where it matched what my expectation was. So when it came time to have our record mastered, there was no doubt he was the guy to go to.
See, you just answered my question. What drew you to work with him on this project? You can't be jumping ahead of me
like that.
Tyler, you can't be jumping ahead of me. That was perfect. That was great. That was great. To my knowledge, you directed and edited 2 of your music videos, Dance Through It and Just Can't Stop. Are those the only 2 music videos you've directed and edited?
Yes.
And what inspired you to take on the role of both director and editor for these 2 music videos?
LV. She's like, come on, you can do it.
It was her encouraging you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, she was just like, I mean, like the first one, she really pulled it all together because she was the one that went out and into the streets of Los Angeles during the pandemic and found this location and had it all shot and everything and had her hair all done.
Oh, it was her concept. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, all of it. And so she gave that to me because I said, just let me get you performing it and then I can, edit some stuff in. So she gave that to me, and then I went ahead and I took a bunch of stock footage of crowds and everything, and I layered it all up. And for me, the video as a producer of music, the video needs to feel like the music, right? That's my big thing. Yes. I want you to watch the video and feel the beat and feel the pulse and get into the vibe. So that's what we did with the first one. And then the second one, she had the idea of having all of our friends submit a video of them showing how they love.
Right.
And you graced us with your presence on that too. So that was awesome. And
excellent video. And not just because I'm in it, but it was an excellent video. It was excellent video. And Dance Through It.
Yeah. And so again, it's the same thing. It was like, it's about evoking a feeling to me. I just but we didn't have quite enough of just our friends. So I kind of merged it in with other stock footage and just tried to, and I remember like when Elsie was telling me about what she wanted to do, I was like, oh, it's like the Pharrell Happy video.
Yes. She kept referencing
concept, yes, right? Yes. So I kind of had that in the back of my head when I was editing it. Like the thing about that video is you just feel the joy, right? Like when you watch the video, it's just about feeling the joy. And I wanted you to feel the love when you watched our video. And through the music, you know, and so that was kind of the concept
She
of all
said
the evidence.
she said she's been watching it like every day, you know, several times a day since it was published. I will say this, so I was honored that she, you know, wanted some footage. And initially I had sent her footage of me and my little sister embracing to I think it was one of Lauryn Hill's songs from, anyway, it was some footage from like 2000 or 2001, but it wasn't good quality. It was too dark or something. So, but I was just telling LZ, I was like, LZ, I haven't been in a music video since 2002 or three. They've been in music videos for Yolanda Adams, Anastasia. I was in Cher's music video. Do you
Wow.
believe in love? And so when you were saying, you know,
Wow.
it has to match up and everything, I had been in dance, you know, electronic music videos and
Real
everything.
deal, right.
So this totally took me back to like 25 years ago. You know, obviously I wasn't on a set and everything. The
Right.
footage, you know, is included, but I was just like, I mean, I didn't see myself being in nobody's video anytime soon, you know, but
Well, you know, it was very homemade version, but I think that again, like I said, you know, both of them were very homemade versions. Like I did them, I
but the
did them in
quality is,
I did them in iMovie.
she mentioned that in iMovie, right?
Yeah.
It's the quality.
Well, the
It's
quality, well, yeah, I mean, the quality was just based on what was delivered to me and what I was able to pull from the stock footage.
so you have your production skills, you know, with music and all of that, but had you edited prior to
No, I mean, the editing stuff I think really just comes from doing the remixes and DJing and just understanding how to cut things together.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
It was just a very
And
easy.
again, it's like for me, it's to the beat. Everything's got to be to the beats. And when I hear the music, I go, oh, I want to feature this part of the music. Now I'm going to
Right.
feature this part of the music. So it's really just about the music. And
Hmm.
everything is about the music and how it pops at you with the music, and certain things happen in the music and I make certain things happen in the video. So
Right.
it's really just mirroring the music. The music tells you where to edit.
Pardon me.
It is time consuming though. I mean,
Oh
editing
Lord.
is
Oh
time.
Lord.
I sometimes there was a point where I was like, am I spending more time on the video than we spent on the song?
And then you have to tell yourself, like, I gotta get out, log off. Like I gotta go into the real world because you can really get sucked into there. And next thing you know, you've probably spent, it could be like 100 hours and
Yeah, and then
a
you're
month
going,
could
oh,
go
but I just
by.
want to tweak this one little thing. Let me just tweak this one little
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm. And then it's like, I gotta, it has to, you know, be released. You told me that you have a DJ mix series, All That Glitters on Mixcloud.
Yes.
New mix forthcoming. So it says new mix forthcoming to promote Just Can't Stop. Does this mean you have a new mix forthcoming to promote Just Can't Stop?
Yes. So what I do is with each release, and maybe not every single release, but I try to do it with every release, is I create a playlist, or they call it a DJ chart on Beatport and TrackSource, where I pull the way, I mean, everyone does it differently. The way I do mine is specifically I pull tracks that are new releases that I feel fit with our release, with the release that just came out, whether it's just to listen to as a playlist. But for me, I then go and I take that DJ chart and I do a DJ mix with it. So it's a seamless DJ mix. And that's what I post on Mixcloud. And that's my All That Glitters series.
You had also said DJing for me has been a way to keep my production chops current by staying in touch with new releases and trends.
Yes. Yes. And I think, you know, as a producer and as a remixer, you know, one of the things that is so important, especially when you're producing new music, is understanding what the current trends are, and not to the point where you try to adjust. Oh, now I'm going to do melodic house, so now I'm going to do whatever and piano. Not to the point where you're changing your subgenre,
But you
but
say I'm
just
piano, I'm piano.
yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, I want to talk about that.
Well, I don't do it, but
Right,
I'm
right,
just
right,
saying,
right, right. I know you do.
but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to change my subgenre. But I am going to make sure that the sounds I'm using are current, that they don't sound dated. Like, I don't want to, like, I want them to sound fresh, right? And I always want to sound fresh and current, as opposed to, even especially since I'm pulling in a lot of retro elements from disco and everything. My my goal is not to sound retro. My goal is to sound current with retro elements. So by staying on top of what's out there, what's charting, that's the other thing, you know, and just earworming it in, not like being too intellectual or heady about it, but just
Mhm.
keeping that stuff in your ears all the time, you know.
I was going to ask you, what have your thoughts been about house music and the sound since you started? You kind of,
Well, yes, when I started, what's funny is it's all coming back around again because the 90s sound is so hot. In fact, even from the video, some of the comments I got were about my M1 back here, which I got this in the 90s. This was one of my first keyboards. And now it's the hot keyboard to have again. And
look at that.
so it's kind of come back full circle. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that it has the Robin S organ. That's M1. And there's another sound on here too. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's, oh, the piano, house piano. It's got the best house piano.
Something old, something new.
Yeah, so so I get to still use those sounds, but I use it, but also it's just it's a great controller board for me too. It's just a nice big keyboard that I can play. So
How long have you been doing your DJ mixing?
started it, I want to say, like right around 2019, 2020, like right when I was kind of really just focusing on getting back to focusing on house music and doing the mixes. Because again, I wanted to have, it was definitely the pandemic because I wasn't DJing anymore. So I was like, how do I keep DJing? And everyone was twitching, you know, everyone was moving to Twitch.
Mhm.
And that just didn't feel good to me. That just wasn't the right platform for me. And I mean, I was used to DJing in dark, sexy bars, and Twitch is not a dark, sexy bar. And I did not there with all.
It's
You know
not
what
a
I'm saying?
dark.
Have you been on Twitch? It's like trains and bells, and I mean, it's like a gaming
No,
site, right?
I haven't. I haven't. I have a TikTok account, but I've never posted stuff. This is too many websites, too many
Don't even
passwords.
bother. I
I'm
mean,
not.
sorry,
I'm not.
Twitch, but it's a gaming site, you know, and then they just happen to have the platform available to stream the music. They
Mhm.
were already set up for it. And so
Mhm.
it started, that's how they did it. But when you go and you watch the DJ sets on this, there's like cartoons coming out of everywhere. And it's not my gig. I couldn't do the whole cartoon part of it. And probably there's ways to get around the cartoony stuff, but it just was such a turnoff to me. So I was like, all right, how do I do this my way? And I decided I would do the mix. It wouldn't be live, which is not as much fun.
Okay.
But I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna work with what I've got and just
Mhm.
create this mix series where every time I have a release, I can take my DJ chart, turn it into a DJ mix, put it up on the mix cloud, and then just kind of keep putting it out like that.
So I've listened to All That Glitters a dozen times, and I like Starlight, the
Oh yeah.
Starlight. Yeah, that's really and I put it on your Instagram. That's really beautiful.
Oh, Starita.
Starita.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, Starita is the artist.
Starita's the artist.
I'm like, Starita. That sounds so familiar.
It sounded familiar to you, right? I was like, I know. I think I wouldn't say I know what I'm talking about. Starita.
Starita, yes.
Is the artist.
Starita's the artist. And Trent Park is the vocalist. And I am the remixer. Yes.
You were the remixer.
I love the way that one turned out.
Yeah.
That's the one that JJ mastered.
Oh, JJ mastered that one too. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one when he mastered, I was like, oh, you're doing all my tracks from now on.
And when was that one? That was done about 2 or 3 years ago too, right?
Yeah. So the Love and Pain we released, I want to say it was 2022, or it's such a blur to me, you know, between the like it feels like it's still 2020 to me, but it was like maybe 2022. It was the last thing I did before I moved, basically.
But that was one of the 10 that you worked on during the pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, when did the pandemic end? We don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
but it was coming out of the pandemic for sure. And it was the last track that I did before I packed up my studio to move down here. First track I did down here.
Just Can't Stop, first track. Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier Piano.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy Afro beats and Piano?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, I can't. That's all I can tell you. I'm not super knowledgeable in that genre.
I'm just now really like discovering it. Like, matter of fact, Terrence is the one who mentioned it to me, and I was like, out of Africa, house music.
I think it's, the thing is, it's way bigger in Europe than it is over here. It's really just kind of catching on over here. I think it's been around in Europe for a little bit longer.
Have you heard that song, Jerusalem? You haven't heard it?
No, you and I are going to have to trade playlists.
Oh, it is so sweet, Tyler.
I got to hear it.
It's so sweet. I'll send you the song afterwards.
I'd love to hear it.
Jerusalem. It's just like, it's beautiful. Yeah. So I'll send that to you. So you said you're familiar with the Afro house music. Are there any songs that you specifically enjoy, or just?
No, I mean, that's why I said I'm not as knowledgeable.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In that realm. I mean, I just know that I've heard it. I like it. When I go out, if the DJ's playing it, I'm going to enjoy it.
You're going to enjoy it. You've heard of Afro Nation?
No.
The annual 3-day music festival founded in 2019 by Live Nation, SOE, and Event Horizon. It brings together the best African artists in Afro beats, hip hop, R&B, dancehall, and piano, Afro swing, and more. You've never heard of Afro Nation?
I'm not familiar with it. No. It sounds great.
I think next year, in 2025, I believe it's going to be somewhere in Brazil. I might be wrong, but I think it travels around the globe. But it was just in Chicago or Philadelphia. It was in Chicago. It was either in Philadelphia or Chicago this past summer, August. Nice. And I met someone and they were telling me about it. And I was like, how did that, pass me by? I was so disappointed.
Because the world is so full of so much good stuff now. You can't even begin. It's like sometimes you're just feeling like, how did I not know about this? And there it was, seemingly right in front of you.
Well, I was already making plans. I was like, oh, I'm going to go next year. But then that was like, no, because I'm not going to Brazil. So I have to wait till it comes back to the States. So, and speaking of music festivals, this is a great way to segue into this. You recently returned from Amsterdam to attend ADE. Is that the biggest dance music event in the world?
As far as I know, I don't think, there were 500,000 people there this year. It's a festival and a conference, and there are also, so it has a panel and conference element. It has a educational lab workshop element, and it has the festival concert element. So a lot going on. Both times I've been there, I was trying to figure out how to clone myself so that I could be in more than one place at one time, because it's impossible to pick what you're going to do. You want to do everything, you can't. And you try anyway, and you kill yourself because you're running all over the place trying to be everywhere.
What did you
But
do?
I did, what did I do? It's such a whirlwind. But so I went to as many panels as I could. One of the main panels I went to that probably was the most beneficial to me was I went to a media speed networking panel where they had people from radio, people from the press, people from video stage, TV stations, and you got to just kind of go around the room and meet each one of them for, I think it was 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes with each person and connect with them a little bit and talk to them and find out what they were about and tell them what you were about and see if there was a
A
reason
connection.
to connect. And yeah, I got a lot of met a lot of people that way. So that was a great one. I was able to do a radio interview with Nexus Radio. I was able to go Fem House had a panel on diversity and inclusion that was really interesting. And then met lots of great people there.
Heard lots of fabulous music.
Oh, I got to go to Glitterbox.
What's that? What's that?
Glitterbox is it's a label and a party. It's disco infused and great DJs, and it's part of the label Defected, which is one of the largest dance labels in the world, and it was fabulous. I mean, it was amazing. I didn't stay all night, sadly, because I had other things I had to do the next day too, but it was such a great party, and got to hear Alternate spin, and she had a new artist that performed with her, and got to hear Todd Terry, got to hear Moose T. Who else did I see? Gosh, more, but I can't even think right now. It was just tons of stuff. So amazing. So between hearing great music, meeting people, reconnecting with people, running into people I hadn't seen in years, it's all the things a conference is supposed to be.
Great, great. This is a great way to end the interview. Almost 3 hour interview. Almost, yeah. I'm going to read a quote from you. Another hot topic for me right now is ageism, especially as it pertains to people who identify as female. I am both the victim and at times the offender. I have to catch myself. There is a perception that people over a certain age are out of touch. As someone who likes to keep my finger on the pulse, that's a problem. Not only do I need to prove that I know what I'm doing, but also that I can keep up.
Yeah. So I think that, yeah, because I went, there's all these diversity and inclusion things going on right now. And I go to a lot of women's events too, to connect with other women and in the
Understandable.
industry. There's a lot of us who are older. A lot of the conversation around the women who are older is that we are just seen as older,
Well, we can say older, but not old.
Well, I say older, but they say old. Who knows? I don't know. I don't put those words in other people's.
It's a word choice.
It is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, the problem with that is that, while as the elders, we are more than happy to be there as mentors to guide the next generation through. And we see that as a very important role. However, we too are still working and growing and informing ourselves and looking for opportunities and trying to figure out what the next step in our careers are. And I think that people forget that or think that after you become a certain age that you're done. Now it's time for the next, to just let the next
right sideline. Want to sideline.
And sideline, yeah. And so there's a sense of that, and I just feel like I have had this conversation with other women my age, but when it gets right down to it, not a lot of people are talking about it, you know? And I don't, and again, I don't think it's just women. It's just that
Oh
it's
no.
a heavier burden on us because there is the expectation that we have to look younger and all the stuff that men don't have. Men
And because
don't
women are already marginalized to a degree
exactly.
already.
Yeah, so we already have that going for us.
Mhm.
So so I think the only thing I would want to say to the world is keep that in mind. You know, keep when you're putting your diversity and inclusion panel together next, or your statement or your article or whatever it is, don't forget about ageism because it's real. And a lot of really great people are missing out on opportunities
Mhm.
because they're seen as finished or done with their career, and they're not. In fact, these are the people that probably have the most to give because of the experience, the level of experience. So,
As someone who likes to keep my finger on the pulse, that's a problem. Not only do I need to prove that I know what I'm doing, but also that I can keep up. Your music is beautiful, so you definitely have your finger on the pulse of it. Probably more on the pulse of it than some of the younger people, right? I mean, I
well,
would
that's
say
what I'm
that.
saying. I mean, not only do I, you know, really take seriously the idea of staying in touch of what's happening today, but also I have the experience and the knowledge to make it happen. Like I know how to listen to something and go, oh, I know how to do that because I've done it. So I'm not, so it's like,
In other words, Tyler Stone ain't going nowhere just yet.
not yet. I've only just begun. I mean, things are just getting better.
No shade.
Just getting started over here.
Just getting started over. This is your renaissance.
Yes, absolutely.
The Tyler Stone renaissance going into
It is the Tyler
2025.
Stone Renaissance. Look out. Let's come back in 10 years and revisit this conversation.
See. And what would you say has been the most effective ways that you have dealt with ageism thus far?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of hit me over the head. Um, only really in the last, well, really only in the last few years as I've gone out again, you know, and I started realizing, oh, now I'm the old lady in the room. And so I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate it myself,
You're
really, you know?
adjusting. You're adjusting to it.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I do think it just needs to be talked about more and more understood that, especially for the youth, you know, because again, like as I said, I'm not only the victim, but also often the offender.
Yeah.
And it's
Said
just
it yourself. You
it's a
said it here live
perception.
on TRANSBRATIONS.
Yeah. It's a perception thing, you know, and we all have to adjust our perceptions of who people are and what they bring to the table.
Mhm. What advice would you give, if any, to others who are dealing with the negative aspects of ageism?
I would say to talk more about it. One of the things, you know, one of the hardest things, and I think it's so much harder for women, like I maybe start feeling comfortable about talking about your age. Maybe we could start there so that people don't go, and then you always have the, oh, you're not that old, you know, or but so that we don't, so that we start perceiving age as not a factor that somehow is a negative. It should be a positive. And we need to start seeing this. We need to start understanding and realizing that having age and wisdom is an amazing thing that you bring
Yeah.
to the table. And youth is awesome too. There's a vitality there, and you know, there's things about youth that you never want to lose, like that wonder and that awe, you know, that you
That
have when you're
innocence.
younger. Yeah. And you know, so they're both amazing. And when you have this knowledge and this wisdom, it's not just about sharing it with the next generation, which again, I say, I don't know anyone that's not happy to do that. Everybody wants to bring the next person up that I know. But it's also about you never stop. You never I think it's about younger people understanding that just when you hit a certain age, it doesn't mean you just stop. You still go. You're still you still have your next goal in mind, and you still like have new things that you want to accomplish, and there's no stop. And I think that that should be really inspiring to youth as well, to know that there's no stopping point, you know. So
Still have those the lung in your the air in your lungs, so you're still alive.
yeah,
So,
lots still to go. Yeah.
what are your plans for the winter? Any special winter plans?
More music, more music, more music.
More music, more music.
I think as I mentioned to you, I think my next track that I'm working on in my head right now, I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to
Right,
do, but
right.
I'm gonna bring some of these vocals into it. So
Mhm.
that's what's next. That'll be the next track,
Okay.
and we'll see where that goes. But that's and hopefully, I mean, I'd love to pick up my production now that I'm kind of more settled in LA. I'd like to be able to maybe even get a couple more tracks under my belt.
Hmm.
So some more remixes maybe as well.
Some more remixes. So, Tyler Stone, I want to thank you for spending this time with me. Tyler Stone, DJ, a record producer, a remixer, a vocalist, and a musician. I got them all, right?
You've got them all. Figure skater, I always like to add in, but
But also a mixologist. Is that what people who create?
right. I only know 2 cocktails, but you know, they're two good.
You know, two more than probably the average, because I don't. Well, I think I know what sex on the vodka and cranberry and the one for sex on the beach.
Right, there you go. Good.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. We'll have to do it again.
Thank you, thank you. And have to have what was the name? You said you do the gin drink, and when was the other one? The Fordham, the
Ford cocktail.
the Ford cocktail. Okay, okay.
Ford cocktail.
The Ford cocktail.
Go to a bar, order the Ford. If you like it, you have to like gin, and you have to like a not sweet cocktail. It's not. It's like.
Oh, does it burn? It burns.
It shouldn't.
Oh,
if it burns, they didn't make it right.
I don't like those drinks that burn.
Go to a good mixologist, and they'll make it up for you.
Okay, okay.
It's called a Ford cocktail, though. And,
The Ford
a lot
cocktail.
of times they think you just want Ford's gin, and that's not the case. It's a Ford cocktail.
A Ford cocktail. Okay, okay. Good night.
Perfect.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.